calendar has turned to December, the time of year when Tom Brady puts a region on his shoulders to lead the postseason surge. They're sold out for the 135th consecutive game in Foxborough as Fox NFL Sunday presents the Detroit Lions and the New England Patriots. And welcome alongside J.C. Pearson, Matt Vasgersian. It is about Tom Brady this time of year in New England. 18-3 in the month of December. He engineered a win over a pretty good Bears team last week despite some Patriot turnover issues. And here we are this time of season once again, J.C., with New England on top and in control in their division.
Well, Matt, this Lions defense definitely has its work cut out for it today. Not only do they have to contend with Tom Brady, who they say is the best quarterback in the league, they also have to contend with the best 1-2 punch at running back in the league in Corey Dillon and Lawrence Maroney. They've got similar running styles, and hey, they even warm up alike. The Patriots are averaging 125 yards a game rushing, and if the Lions let those two guys get going in the run game, it will make it a lot easier for Tom Brady to throw the ball around.
Yeah, well, for the Lions, the first 12 weeks of their schedule hasn't been as pleasant. They're coming off a Thanksgiving Day loss to Miami that dropped them to 2-9. Good news today maybe is that they get Kevin Jones back into the lineup.
Well, Kevin Jones should give this struggling Lions offense a much-needed boost. He's definitely their best runner, and they have to run the football today. But he's also fourth in the league among running backs in catching the ball. He can keep the chains moving and get first downs, but the big plays in the passing game have to come from Roy Williams. 7 yards shy of his first career 1,000-yard receiving season. He leads the league in catches of 20 or more yards. Those two guys have to make it happen today if the Lions are going to win this game.
Boy, a tall order indeed for the visiting Lions this afternoon as New England has run roughshod over the NFC North this year. They battled the Lions to try and sweep the division. Kickoff is next. It is just straight beach weather here in New England in the first week of December. 45 balmy degrees. In fact, this whole crowd's going to head off to the Cape after this one and break out the suntan lotion. Bill Belichick, certainly a guy who has done his finest work in the month of December.
Yeah, they really have. They put an emphasis on winning late in the season. You know, a lot of people were talking about this might have been a trap game for him, but he made an extra effort this weekend to make sure, or this week rather, to make sure that his team is ready to play. Said after Thanksgiving, that's when the good teams really get going.
Boy, you listen to Coach Belichick, and he made the Lions sound like the, like the 85 Bears, to be blunt. And we'll start it out with New England having won the toss. And they have been a very fine return unit this year. In fact, statistically speaking, the best in the NFL in terms of yards per kick.
And that really helps them in terms of field position. They seem to always get a good kickoff return and give Tom Brady in this offense good field position to start drives, which is key in the National Football League.
Lawrence Maroney, the outstanding tailback, he is deep along with Kevin Falk to receive the kick. Veteran kicker Jason Hanson ready to go to work for the visiting Lions, and Week 13 of the NFL is underway in Foxborough. It's Maroney from the 7. And the former Minnesota standout and fine NFL rookie is taken out of bounds at the 30. And that's where Tom Brady will begin his afternoon. Tom Brady, like his head coach, has done such fine work in the month of December, as we've already profiled. He's done very fine work this year, JC, against the NFC.
And he just makes the right decision. It seems like he always makes the right decision. He spreads the ball around to different guys. Ben Watson, the tight end's the #1 guy, but he's getting Richey Caldwell and those guys involved outside. It's just very tough to stop.
Patriots start with Corey Dillon in the backfield. And Brady back to throw on his first try, and the pass is complete and dropped at the 35-yard line. Troy Brown, his intended target there. Taking a look at the Patriots up front, the men in charge of keeping Brady clean, one of the best units in the NFL. Center Dan Copeland signed a new 5-year deal in October, keeping him around for a while. The Patriots backs and receivers, just about everybody gets a chance to touch the ball in this offense. Benjamin Watson is their top target this year, already posting career receiving numbers. On 2nd and 10 now. Again with Dillon, the pitch is to Corey Dillon, and the veteran tailback is brought down at the 39-yard line by the middle linebacker Paris Lennon. And speaking of the Lions defense, the front not generating a lot of QB pressures, and part of that is due to the absence of Sean Rogers. Marcus Bell makes his 6th consecutive start for him inside. The linebacking core led by a defensive rookie of the year candidate, Ernie Sims, the guy Rod Marinelli really loves. And in the secondary, the 2-time Pro Bowler Dre Bly told us yesterday he's worried about Tom Brady. And I think that sentiment is shared by everybody in a Detroit uniform today. Lawrence Maroney checks in now on 3rd and 4. The hand is to Maroney, patiently changing direction and tackled shy of a first down. So with 3 and out begins the afternoon as the Lion defense holds. The Boss Bailey with the tackle that'll force the punting unit onto the field for New England.
Kind of a surprising call in the first drive at 3rd and 3, and they try to run the ball. That tells you that they feel like that they can run on this Detroit Lions defense. Boss Bailey had something to say about that, though.
Ken Walter has been playing duck, duck, goose with the punting duties here for the Patriots with Josh Miller for the past number of years. And it's a short punt that's fielded at the 24 by Eddie Drummond. He dropped it and then gets on it quickly. So the Lions avoid a disastrous start on the Walter punt. So John Kitna goes to work his first series of the afternoon. He is on pace for career-high passing yardage numbers. He has certainly benefited from the Mike Martz aerial attack. Well,
no question about it. And then also getting Kevin Jones back today is going to help him because they've got to run the ball today to try to slow down that rush of the Patriots and give him some time to throw the ball.
A little bit of crowd noise for the first time since introductions here in Foxborough. 1st and 10 for the Lions. And the hand is good for a gainer of maybe a few yards before Ty Warren can tackle Kevin Jones. Checking the Lions up front, this group has struggled. Replacing Damian Woody's really been an issue. And now Rex Turner is gone for the year. Barry Stokes starts at right tackle today. And Blaine Sipaia, who's familiar with the Mike Martz system, starts at right guard. Lions backs and receivers just 21 rushing yards last week without Kevin Jones. And watch out for Roy Williams early. 5 of his 6 receptions last week came in the first quarter. A generous gain of 7 yards. Play action. This is Jones again, and he's smothered for a loss. Big penetration that time by big Ty Warren.
It's going to be tough running against these guys. Watch Ty Warren right here, number 94. Plays off the double team and fights up the field. Tackles Kevin Jones for a loss. But those 3 guys up front, Ty Warren, Vince Wilfork, Richard Seymour, got to find a way to block those guys. And the trouble is, those guys are so good, you can't double team all 3 of those guys. So you got to try to pick which guys you're going to double, and then hopefully you can win one-on-one with the other guy.
On 3rd and 4 now, Chad Scott checks in on the nickel package for the Patriots. Kitna with a little bit of time, and the pass is dropped. Intended for Marcus Pollard, the 2nd-year Lion, who came to Detroit last season after 10 years with the Colts. And Detroit will go 3 and out.
And that's one of the problems, that when you talk to the Lions, to a man, they say they just have to make plays. And this is just a routine play by Marcus Pollard, normally a very good receiving tight end. That's a play that you've got to make every time. It's a very easy throw, a short route, and you can turn that into a first down, and now you keep the ball and move the chains.
Nick Harris punted a season-high 6 times in the Thanksgiving Day loss against Miami, and a flag.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 46. Came in the neutral zone, calls the offense the false start. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Boy, a rare miscue, and John Kitna and the Lions offense get a reprieve, as we hear from Jeff Triplett the first time, and that comes as something of a surprise, not something you see from a Bill Belichick team early in a game.
Well, it's not, but when you got a veteran defense like this, they understand being put in adverse situations or change of possessions and normally come in and continue to do their job, so it shouldn't be that much of an issue for them defensively.
From the 33. And not much on the handoff up the middle. Meeting New England's defensive front used to be that opponents would try their luck on the left side to avoid the four-time Pro Bowler Richard Seymour, but Ty Warren, as we've already seen, has really turned into a force on that side. In the linebacking core, the adjustment with Junior Seau lost for the year. Roosevelt Colvin to the strong side, Tully Bantacane to the weak side, Vrabel back inside. In the secondary, Asante Samuel, 3 picks last week against Chicago. He now has a share of the NFL interceptions lead. Chad Scott back on the field in the nickel package. Kitna scrambling, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Kevin Jones.
Well, the thing that this Lions offense has to do is they've got to control the ball, and they've got to keep Tom Brady off the field. And the way they do that, they've got to get their running game going. They've got to get a short, controlled passing attack going. Just worry about making first downs. Keep the chains moving. Keep the clock running. Try to shorten this game and then be in it at the end.
3rd and 10 now. A 4-receiver set for Detroit. Kitna looking downfield, and that pass is incomplete. Tried to get it to Roy Williams. So back-to-back 3-and-outs, though that penalty on the punt gave them another opportunity. The Lions failed to capitalize.
They sure did, because Roy Williams was open on that deep dig route, that 15-yard in route. That's a throw that Kitna has to make. And in this offense, that's a big play for this offense, because Roy Williams is in that spot that Torrey Holt is in St. Louis, and they like to run that 4 route.
Kevin Falk is the deep man for New England. From the 21, jukes a tackler, hits the sideline, and then is hit. Tackled shy of the 30 by Casey Fitzsimmons, and a flag on the return.
There is a flag down on the play.
Let it fucking go! During return. Correction, during the kick. Holding. Number 53 in the receiving team. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Special teams captain Larry Izzo guilty of the hold. Tom Brady back to work when we come back.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 41.
Well, fans in New England aren't going to worry about whether or not Manny Ramirez is returning until after the Patriots season is over, and they're hoping that that's off a couple of months after a trip to Miami. First things first, as Bill Belichick certainly doesn't let his team get too far ahead of itself. After the penalty on the punt, Brady and the Patriots start at the 12-yard line. Lawrence Maroney, the tailback, and the hand is to the rookie tailback, getting around the corner, still on his feet, and bumped out of bounds at the 20-yard line. You know, last week, New England beat the Bears, and offensively they had a lot of different formations, a lot of different personnel groups. Do you look for them to be that complicated today?
No, I think offensively they just got to come out and they've got to pound the Lions. The Lions haven't been good against the run all year. In their last game on Thanksgiving, Miami ran for 186 yards earlier. San Fran 198. The Jets ran for 221. So they haven't been good against the run, and I think New England just has to pound it.
An 8-yard pickup by Maroney. Here he is again trying the other side of the line, and tackled shy of the 20-yard line. No gain on the play. So then what can be said of the Herculean task presented to the Detroit defense today?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Matt. But what they've got to do, they've got to try to score some points, because obviously their offense is struggling, especially against this good New England defense. So defensively for the Detroit, they've got to make some plays. And that's the focus for them today. Guys have to step up, make some plays, see if they can put some points on the board defensively.
Maroney generously credited with a yard on that last carry, so it brings up 3rd and short. And Maroney runs for a New England first down. Our first down of the football game before Terrence Holt made the tackle, a gain of 3.
And that's what you expect to see a lot of today. You see Lawrence Maroney a little shaken up right there, but they've got that 1-2 punch, that two-headed monster with he and Corey Dillon. They've done a good job all year rotating. And when you have two guys that are that good, you can spell guys. Guys like that, Lawrence Maroney gets banged up, you come back with Corey Dillon, the same type of runner, probably a little stronger inside runner. That's what you need in a game like today.
Double tight end set on first down for Brady and the Pats, and he hangs the ball into the corner for Riche Caldwell. And they say he was juggling the football as he went out of bounds. Our first game break of the afternoon. Let's check in with Chris Rose in Los Angeles.
Matt, last week in Cleveland, there was hate on the sidelines. Today, nothing but love in the end zone. Charlie Fry to Braylon Edwards. Those two went at it last week. It's the Browns' first touchdown in 34 drives. They lead Kansas City 7-zip. Back to Matt and JC. You guys always get along.
Most of the time, Chris. Most of the time.
Kansas City among those chasing San Diego for honors in the AFC West. The Chargers have really been a handful for everybody. They play in Buffalo today. And Brady doesn't like what he sees on 2nd and 10 and spends the first timeout for New England. 9:07 left in the first quarter. Lions and Patriots without a score.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Budweiser. Bright, crisp, clean, pure. This is Budweiser. This is beer.
2nd and 10 for New England after Tom Brady spends an early timeout. And the draw play with Dillon.
Go back to that last play and see Tom Brady calling timeout here. He's trying to make the calls and audible at the line of scrimmage. He's got to take a timeout. And the reason why is because the Lions defensively are moving around. Watch all these guys moving before the snap, trying to show Tom Brady different looks. Donnie Henderson, the defensive coordinator, told us they've got to disguise their coverages before the snap and try to confuse Tom Brady. That's the only way they can have success today. You can see again Tom Brady here checking out of the play because of what he sees.
On 3rd and 9, out of the shotgun, Brady with time. He has a wide open target. First down, New England. Riche Caldwell making his first reception of the afternoon, a gain of 22.
And the problem with moving guys around is you got to make sure guys get to where they're supposed to be in coverage. And with a guy like Tom Brady, once he understands exactly what you're doing coverage-wise, he's going to be able to find the open guy because he knows right now where that guy's going to be. You have defensive backs moving from the line of scrimmage, running all the way back to the hash. A lot of times they can't get there.
Play action once again for Brady, and once again a wide open target down the middle of the field, and it's the same guy, Riche Caldwell. 2 receptions this afternoon, already a career high on the season for him. And we have a man down on the field after a 17-yard pickup. It's Fernando Bryant, the ex-Jaguar and left corner for the Lions. An injury timeout on the field with New England on the move.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Ford Shelby GT500. Bold moves, they happen every day. By Samsung, the official HD TV of the NFL. By Fidelity Investments, smart move. And by K Jewelers, every kiss begins with K.
Well, on the 7th play of this New England drive, and after a 17-yard pickup on the completion to Riche Caldwell, Fernando Bryant was the injured player, and it's certainly good to see him able to at least get into a seated position after being down on the turf.
And see at the end of this play, Ernie Sims, his own guy, is going to come in right there at the end of the play and just hits Fernando Bryant.
Fernando Bryant in the midst of a good season with the Lions, 45 tackles. And to his feet now, and to a courteous ovation here in Foxborough. While we have a moment, let's check in once again with Chris Rose in Los Angeles.
All right, Matt from D.C., watch this one. Liddell Betts, untouched. The Falcons don't lay a finger on him. I guess they could have used Michael Vick's middle one. Atlanta's dropped 4 straight, and they're down 7-zip in our nation's capital. Back to Matt and JC.
Oh, we're getting a lot of mileage on that, aren't we?
Hey, how about Chris? Chris, bringing him out today.
Michael Vick's going to make a run at Jack McDowell, the old Yankee flipper. for honors in that department, unfortunately for him. As you see Fernando Bryant understandably groggy and being escorted to the Lions sideline. Stanley Wilson, the second-year corner out of Stanford, will replace Bryant at the left cornerback spot for the time being.
And you know what we always say, Matt, whenever there's a backup cornerback that comes in the game or a young guy, guys always get tested. So you can expect Tom Brady to know that Stanley Wilson's in the game, and he will get some work early.
8th play of the drive stops because of a penalty marker.
False start. 61 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Get the right guard, Stephen Neal.
And that's rare, Matt, because coming into today, New England only had 9 false starts all year, and that tied for the lowest amount in the league. We've seen these guys come out and have some penalties early in this game. You got to wonder. We talked about them not being mentally prepared, even though Belichick stressed the importance of this game. Those kind of things signal not a lot of concentration.
Already the 3rd penalty charge to the Patriots. With Brown and Caldwell split wide, Brady to the air once again, looking for Caldwell down the middle once more, and this time they say no catch. There's been a lot of real estate in the middle of the field on this drive for New England.
Now, Riche Caldwell is fast becoming a target for Tom Brady. He came in from the charge, and it took him a while to get comfortable in this system. And Tom Brady actually went out with him one day and ran routes for Riche to show him how he wanted routes run. Now they're starting to really get on the same page, and you can see that right now he's a go-to guy for Tom Brady.
Evans in the backfield. And Brady this time on 2nd and long. As a target this time, another New England first down. Riche Caldwell's been open all afternoon.
Well, if you do what the quarterback tells you to do, he's going to come to you. And like I said, Tom showed him exactly how he wanted routes to be run. And this time they double moved the young guy, Stanley Wilson, outside. And then instead of keeping it on the go route, he breaks it off on the comeback, and he's wide open.
3 receptions for 58 yards this drive between Brady to Caldwell. The hand is to Patrick Pass. Riche Caldwell was probably among those yesterday watching TV, watching his alma mater in a game with all kinds of BCS college implications in Florida's win over Arkansas. His younger brother, Andre, who's a wideout in Florida, threw a touchdown pass late in the game, turning into a pretty good weekend for the Caldwell family. Corey Dillon in the backfield with Brady now on 2nd and 6. But Troy Brown in motion. Brady looking into the middle of the field again, and he throws it away. Kind of intended for the tight end Benjamin Watson.
And that's exactly what Detroit has to do. They have to bring pressure. They can't allow Tom Brady to set his feet. You're going to see all these guys at the line of scrimmage. Paris Lennon's going to come through inside, as well as Corey Redding right here. These guys do a good job getting up the field, but that's what you got to do. You've got to be aggressive defensively. You got to bring some pressure, get in Tom Brady's face, and force some bad throws.
12th play of the drive, 3rd and 6. Brady out of the shotgun with Kevin Falk in the backfield with him. The quick pass complete to Caldwell. We'll see if they mark him for a first down or not.
See, they're talking about whether he juggled that catch or not, whether he actually caught it. But the Lions, again, brought some pressure inside to try to get to Tom Brady. But when you do that, your corners outside have got to cover man-to-man. So you put those guys on an island, and remember, you've got a young backup in Stanley Wilson out there. You got to help that kid out by getting to the quarterback.
Well, they're going to measure. They do say it's a catch by Caldwell. Bear in mind that the Patriots have been unbelievably efficient on 4th down this year. An NFL best 13 out of 16 should they choose to try to move it here on 4th. It's been the Riche Caldwell show here in the first quarter so far. We remind you the second half of our doubleheader coming up as soon as the Lions and Patriots complete here in Foxborough. It's round 2 between the NFC East powers, Dallas and New York. Some of you will see the Bucs and Steelers. That's game 2 of our doubleheader coming up here on Fox. Remember, the Giants hold the tiebreaker in that series, having defeated Dallas in Week 7. So on a double tight end set, as we guessed, the Patriots will try to improve their NFL best 4th down percentage, a keeper. Patriots line saying they converted. And indeed, confirmed by the officials, 1st down New England.
You see just a good push inside. Dan Copen, Logan Mankins, Stephen Neal inside. All they need is a few inches. They get a couple yards there with just a quarterback sneak by Tom Brady.
Dillon around the right side. And a flag on the play as Dillon is brought down by the strong safety, Kenoy Kennedy.
Holding. Number 77 to the offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 1st down.
Right tackle Nick Kaiser guilty of the hold and the 4th Patriot penalty of the game so far.
See Kaiser right there at the right tackle position. He's going to try to set the edge. Just gets his left hand right there around Jared DeVries and just pulls him down there. That's an easy call.
This isn't the way it's supposed to read, right? Detroit, the 2nd most penalized team in the NFL this year. It's been a complete role reversal so far early this afternoon. So on 1st and 20, Daniel Graham, the tight end, on the reception for New England. They get some of it back on that 1st down play.
And with all the pressure that the Lions have been bringing, now the Patriots just get back in a shotgun formation, get Tom Brady away from the line of scrimmage, get him the ball, and now they spread that defense out, and now they've got 2 good big tight ends that can run to work the middle of the field.
The 15th play of the drive for New England. Brady looking off a defender. Here he goes again, just like last week against the Bears, but unlike the move he put on Brian Urlacher, he decided to slide safely.
No, but he got Marcus Bell early, though. He got Marcus Bell in that little stutter step. Go back to last week against the Bears. Critical situation too here, Matt.
This was the move we're talking about. Urlacher said later he was looking for the safety slide. Instead, Brady used his, quote, one move to juke one of the fiercest hitters in the National Football League.
Then he comes back today and does it. The problem with that is now he thinks he can do it every week.
Out of the shotgun with Kevin Falk in the backfield on 3rd and 6. The Patriots can't convert on a 1st down. He had a wide open target, but the ball was underthrown. Again, Riche Caldwell snuck free in the corner of the end zone. And that's going to bring on the Patriots field goal unit.
And that's a throw that Tom Brady wishes he had back. He just rushed this throw. He had so much time. He really expected pressure. Although here's the run right here where he fakes out Marcus Bell. That patented move he has, that jab step.
Well, another injured Lion on the field. Our 2nd injury timeout from Foxborough. We'll be right back. Well, unfortunately, they're dropping rather quickly for Detroit. Jared DeVries, the player shaken up on that last play. They're already without a lot of defensive pop.
Yeah, there's James Hall and Sean Rogers, the 2 big guys that getting to the quarterback.
Rookie kicker Steven Gostowski is on, and the kick is up and through. A 17-play drive ends with 3 points for the homestanding Pats. Well, animated as per usual, head coach Rod Marinelli firing up on the Detroit defense. But, you know, after 17 plays, they give up only a field goal.
Yeah, that's got to be a win for the defense. But Coach Marinelli is a teacher. And you can see he's over there still talking to guys about technique, how to adjust, what to do out there on the field. And that's what I like about this coach. He's always coaching and teaching his players. And they're going to start to come around. And that was a great series for them. Even though they gave up a lot of yards on a lot of plays, they kept them out of the end zone.
So after the field goal, 3-0 New England. Eddie Drummond, the deep man for the Lions, puts a move on the 11, still on his feet and wrapped up about the 13-yard line. Let's go to Chris Rhodes in Los Angeles for a game break.
All right, Matt, Colts clinch the AFC South with a win. Peyton Manning to Marvin Harrison. I've said that like 100 times. Actually, I have. First quarterback receiver duo to connect on 100 touchdown passes, 15 more than Young to Rice. They're up 7-zip. Back to another great duo, Matt and JC.
So generous, so kind.
I'm liking Chris more and more every week, man.
Yeah, the Colts can clinch the South with a win or a Jacksonville loss, and the Jags are at Miami later. Kevin Jones is the back with Kitna looking downfield, and down goes the Lions quarterback. Ty Warren had already tied a career sacks high with 3.5 at the start of play.
And this has been a problem for the Lions. They've given up 41 sacks already coming into this game. They got sacked 8 times last week. He's got to get rid of the football. If a guy's not there, get rid of it. Don't take the sack and the negative yards, because that puts them in second and extremely long. You've got to get rid of the ball. Yes, they've got to block better up front, but Kitna's got to help those guys out a little bit.
Not a league leaderboard that anybody wants to see themselves on. Only Charlie Fry's been dropped more than Kitna. Pressure again, and the pass is complete to Mike Furry in the midst of a career year, and Furry is taken out of bounds at the Detroit 43 by Chad Scott.
Mike Furry, good story, comes into Detroit. He's starting wide receiver, and last year he was with the St. Louis Rams as a starting free safety. But the 2 years prior to that, he was a receiver, so he's very knowledgeable in this Mike Martz offensive system. He knows exactly what he's supposed to do because he's been in it. Very capable guy on the backside of Roy Williams.
The Lions' second leading receiver with a big play for Detroit. Kitna down the middle of the field. There's their big play guy, Roy Williams. Another Detroit first down. With that reception, Roy Williams has crossed the 1,000-yard mark for the season.
And again, that's that deep end that in this system is run so often by that position. And when you think about the St. Louis Rams, that's the Torrey Holt position. They always like to run. The favorite route is that deep end. Roy Williams with that big body is a good guy to do it.
Back-to-back first down receptions by Kitna down the middle of the field again. And this ball is out of reach. Intended for Mike Williams, the former standout receiver out of USC, who the Lions have been trying to pump up, at least in all the pregame conversation this week leading into this event at Foxborough.
Going back to Roy Williams is a guy that was frustrated last night. He said, we've got a lot of talent on this team and really thinks that they'll turn it around in the next few years. And, he said their role right now is to get better and disrupt the playoffs. Try to give some teams some losses like the Patriots.
On second and 10, the quick slant caught by Furry. Lunging for another first down. But, with this Mike Martz system, it's complicated. It's probably more complicated than the lay fan, including myself, is ever going to really be able to get his hands around. But how do you compare it with the receiving group here to what he ran in St. Louis?
Well, it's completely different. And you got to think that the way they drafted here in Detroit was for a different system. They wanted the big, strong wide receiver, the Mike Williams, the Roy Williams, Charles Rogers. Obviously, Roy Williams, the only guy that's really panning out. But in St. Louis, they wanted the small, quick guys, quick throws.
The quick pitch to Kevin Jones. And he's tackled shy of the 20-yard line.
And going back talking about that system, Matt, that's why they've got to find that third receiver. That's why Roy Williams said Mike Williams really has to step up, be that third guy, maybe that guy on the outside opposite of him, and that way they can move a smaller guy inside in that slot position.
The Lions have their offense on the march. The end of the first quarter. Fox NFL Sunday returns after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. 3-0 New England at the start of the second quarter, and for the Detroit Lions, their first appearance here in New England since 1993 at Old Foxborough Stadium when Bill Parcells was beginning his coaching tenure here in New England, and a guy named Drew Bledsoe was calling the plays for him here.
Long time ago.
So much has changed. A couple of uniforms that don't see one another often as Kitna's pass is swatted away at the line of scrimmage. Big Richard Seymour got his meat hooks up in the air.
See, Seymour just comes off, and what linemen are taught so much these days is get your hands up. If you're not going to get to the quarterback on that three-step drop, which you very rarely are, just get your hands up, get in the passing lanes, because that ball's coming out quick and low because it's a quick throw.
2nd and 10 for Kitna now. More pressure. Here comes Seymour again. Kitna gets it away as he's hit. Teddy Bruschi applying the pressure for New England.
And Seymour really caused that Kitna to be flushed out of the pocket. Seymour, watch him just roll to the inside. It's going to come up in the face of Kitna. Kitna sees him and tries to run to the outside. That's where Teddy Bruschi just comes and cleans him up. But again, anytime you can get pressure up the middle in the face of a quarterback, it's going to cause a lot of disruption.
The linebacking core for New England a bit disrupted without Junior Seau. Teddy Bruschi, the only guy who stays put from the healthy Seau alignment. And the quick pass is caught by Kevin Jones out of the Lions' backfield, tackled inside the 5. A 27-yard gainer for Detroit, first down Lions.
And they catch the Patriots in man coverage. He's the guy in charge of Kevin Jones, and watch all the traffic that he's got to fight through. Right there, they just rub him off. Just a quick wheel route by Kevin Jones outside. Get him the ball quickly before the linebacker can recover.
Kevin Jones with 51 receptions this year, already a career best. Lions have struggled in the red zone. The hand is to Jones up the middle. A gain of maybe 2. Richard Seymour in on the tackle for New England.
And this is something, New England, they've only allowed 21 possessions in the red zone. So they've been very good about keeping teams out of the red zone. And that's the lowest number in the league. So Detroit offensively, give those guys some credit for being able to get the ball down here. If they can punch it in, be even bigger for them.
2nd and goal now. Furry in motion, splits to the top of your screen. Kitna looks his way, touchdown Detroit. Mike Furry, his 4th touchdown reception of the year, a 5-yard TD toss, and the Lions take the lead here in the second quarter.
And a good drive by Detroit. They go all the way down, they throw the ball in some intermediate routes, they throw a deeper route to Roy Jones on that deep end, and get a wheel route to Kevin Jones, really mixing up their plays very well. Then get that quick slant to Furry for the touchdown. Good job of mixing up their plays.
The veteran kicker Jason Hansen on for the PAT. Remember the field position that the Lions started here. That was an 11-play, 85-yard drive. John Kitna's been frustrated most of the year. Little love for him on the road today.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Citizen Watch, by MasterCard, by Microsoft, software for the people-ready business, and by Chevrolet, America's brand, Chevy, an American revolution.
Have some Mastacholi with Paul Revere in the north end of Boston, and then head to Foxborough. 7-3 Detroit with 13:44 left in the second quarter. An impressive Lions drive engineered by John Kitna to give Detroit the lead. So Jason Hansen kicks it away. Kevin Falk starts the return at the New England 9. Cross the 30 down the sideline and hit out of bounds at the 36-yard line. 7-3 Detroit. Tonight, college football's greatest teams find out who they'll play in college football's greatest games. It's a live primetime special that you can only see here on Fox. The All-State BCS Selection Show follows our football coverage tonight on Fox. Corey Dillon with the carry on the first play of the possession here for New England. As we check in with the third member of our broadcast crew on the sidelines this afternoon, Jennifer Hammond.
Yeah, guys, and linebacker Ernie Sims put quite a hit on Fernando Bryant. He was unconscious on the field. He now has a concussion. His return is doubtful. He's been taken to the locker room. Jared DeVries, he's got his helmet on. He wants to go back out. He has yet to see the field yet again. Back upstairs to you.
All right, Jennifer, thanks. On 2nd and 8 now, and with a slightly revamped Detroit defense on the field, one that's held up pretty well thus far this afternoon. You see Brady changing the play again. Hands off to Corey Dillon around the corner. First down New England, but a flag on the play.
Holding, number 70, the offense. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
And they get Logan Mankins. Just about everybody on the offensive line for New England today has been caught doing something wrong. The 5th penalty of the afternoon charge to the Patriots.
Yeah, that's unusual. Tom Brady, again, taking a lot of time at the line of scrimmage, changing the play, trying to read what this defense is actually going to play. They've got a lot of guys moving around. Typically what they're going to end up in is a cover 2 shell with those 2 safeties deep. You've got to be able to run the ball against them.
Kevin Falk in the backfield with Brady now, and the swing pass is caught by Falk, something that the Patriots do a lot of. They get some of that yardage back as Dre Bly makes the tackle. A gain of 4 yards. You know, you mentioned earlier, JC, that Lions defensive coordinator Donnie Henderson planned on trying to mix up his looks this afternoon. And you can tell that that's working so far. First of all, New England has only 3 points. Secondly, you know, all these penalties and holds indicative of a team that's a little confused.
Yeah, no question, a little confused. And are they really mentally here? Are they intense as, you know, coming off a big win against the Bears last week, getting that win, and now you play the Detroit Lions at 2-9. It's a natural letdown game.
And Brady is sacked. Some rare quarterback pressure. Corey Redding's 5th sack of the year.
Corey Redding, a guy really starting to blossom in this new defensive system of Donnie Henderson. They moved him from end to the under tackle. You can see he's just going to fight up the field and just pushes Matt Light to the side, gets his 5th sack inside. He's a guy that really, that's a big position in this offense, that under tackle, playing between the guard and the tackle in that gap. They call that the B gap, and that's something that Warren Sapp made famous in this Tampa, quote-unquote, Tampa 2 defense.
So Ken Walter back onto the field. That one nearly blocked. Eddie Drummond, the deep man, signals fair catch at the Detroit 35-yard line. Corey Redding applying the heat for Detroit. Well, Corey Redding finishes off that would-be New England drive with the sack that forced the punting unit onto the field. And as you mentioned, JC, he's really responded well after the change inside.
He moved into that under tackle position where he plays in that B gap between the guard and the tackle. That position is just get up the field and disrupt. He's done a good job of that.
And off to Kevin Jones. He is met squarely up the middle by Vince Wilfork.
Talking about Corey Redding again. He's lined up right in here in that gap, and his job is just get up the field and disrupt. He's a real quick guy for a man that big, and you can see he gets up the field, pushes Matt Light to the side, just gets the sack. But he should thrive well in that position. The problem that he'll have is he's not a big physical guy, so what teams will start doing is they'll start running at him instead of just running away from him, letting him get up the field.
On 2nd and 8. Kitna squirts through the middle. And a flag on the field as Kitna runs for a Detroit first down, but we'll see if this one's coming back.
You know, where that flag is thrown down the field, that's generally on the defense. Going to get a holding down the field or illegal contact.
Holding. Defense, number 30. That 5-yard penalty we've added to the end of the run. First down.
Chad Scott guilty of the hold. Another violation by the Patriots today.
Chad Scott, they want to be physical with Roy Williams at the line of scrimmage. You can see that's a pretty tough call there. That's just good bump and run. I didn't see any holding there at the line of scrimmage, but that's what they want to do. They want to be physical with Roy. He's a bigger wide receiver, not the quickest guy off the line, so you want to be physical with him at the line of scrimmage.
6 penalties charged to the Bill Belichick coached Patriots. That's not something that the NFL play-by-play people have said very often the last 5 years. As Detroit crosses midfield, 1st and 10. After the pump fake, the handoff to Kevin Jones results in a gain of 8 yards. But Kevin Jones makes such a difference healthy in this offense. As we mentioned at the top of the telecast, JC, only 21 rushing yards in the loss to Miami without him on Thanksgiving Day.
And he's definitely their best running back. But he's so diverse also. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. We saw him on that wheel route earlier. But they've got to be able to run the ball today. That was a good gain on first down. And they've got to stay in these 2nd and short, 3rd and short situations.
Call it 2nd and 3 now. Jones again. And he is stuffed on this occasion. Ty Warren has had a big half, had a big game against the Bears last week.
When you talk about this Patriots defense and how good they've been all year, you see their 3rd in rushing defense, 2nd in points allowed. They've given up 7 already today in the red zone touchdown percentage. They're 3rd best in the league, although the Lions went down the field and scored in the red zone. So the Lions are doing a good job offensively.
On 3rd and 2, and the Lions convert. The reception to Corey Bradford. So a Detroit Lions team that has struggled on 3rd downs all season long. In fact, they started play with the next to last 3rd down conversion percentage of the NFL, and they convert here.
Bradford just runs this short crosser. They only need 2 yards. The offensive line gives Kitna time, protection, and allows Bradford to come all the way across the field underneath the zone drops of those linebackers, and it's enough for a first down.
The draw play, Kevin Jones once again twisting and tackled at the 22-yard line after a gain of a few. And once again, we check in Los Angeles with Chris Rose.
All right, Matt, no twisting necessary on this run by LaDainian Tomlinson. Hey, shocker, he found the end zone. 25th time this season. That's 3 shy of the NFL mark set by Sean Alexander. Chargers up 10-zip. All I know is if JC was in the secondary, he would have made that tackle, right, Matt?
You're right, Chris.
We saw a football card of you yesterday. It looked like you were just going to jam the daylights out of some little receiver.
Yeah, LT probably shaking me out of my shoes, though.
There's Kevin Jones, hard to tackle on his own right. And dragged down by Artrell Hawkins from the New England secondary. Well, the Lions started play ranked around the middle of the pack in total yardage. But so far this afternoon, they have bettered their 18th place NFL ranking. And after that 7-yard gain now, another first down for Detroit. Arlen Harris checking in the backfield with Kitna on 1st and 10.
Roy Williams in the slot.
Kitna going through his reads, and he finds Mike Furry to his left. Furry diving inside the 10. Ellis Hobbs with the stop for the Patriots, another 7-yard gain.
You know, whenever Roy Williams is in that slot, you got to pay attention to him. The safeties are going to come over the top. They're going to roll their coverage that way, and you can see, look at all the guys going to Roy Williams. That opens up the other side of the field for Mike Furry. Now they just follow Dan Campbell. The linebacker opens up the underneath zone for Mike Furry.
The difference here so far has been the running game for Detroit. 42 yards on the ground, already doubling their entire output a week ago. The quick pass caught by Furry, diving inside the 5.
And did you see where Kitna lined up that time? Kitna was actually lined up in the slot. Then they shifted him back to the quarterback position. Look at Kitna right here, lined up in the slot position. Then they just switch back, and then he just dumps it off to Furry real quick again. Just something to kind of confuse the defense.
You know, I hear you talking about this a lot, that when you are out-talented, perhaps outclassed, and you're a big underdog, you got to empty out the playbook for stuff like that.
You got to do different things to even out the playing field.
Jones fumbles the football, and Mike Vrabel's there to bounce on it.
And that's exactly what you can't do. You can't turn the ball over, especially when you've been doing well, driving the ball all the way down to the red zone. You got to get points when you can. We go back to that fumble caused by Artrell Hawkins. Just does a good job of reading the run and coming up. Watch him get his shoulder pad right on the ball right there. Knocks that ball out of Kevin Jones' his hands, and the Patriots are able to stop that drive, take the points away from the Lions.
So on the 10th play of the drive, the fumble gives the ball back to New England. And they'll try to create some room by running with Corey Dillon. And every time we see Artrell Hawkins make a play, you can almost hear his voice on the sidelines telling Asante Samuel or whomever, I made that play happen, baby. He's got some of the deepest tones in the AFC.
Show you're right.
He's got a career waiting for him as a voiceover artist. I mean, you know, this is a guy who plays in the secondary, and he has the voice of a, you know, that James Earl Jones type baritone.
Right, almost like mine.
2nd and 7 now. And play action, Brady over the middle should have been picked off. In fact, Hawkins has such a great voice and delivery. We asked him to tell us about what's coming up next on Fox.
The NFL on Fox continues with the second half of the doubleheader next as Dallas faces the New York Giants. Romo, Manning, Barber, and Owens square off in this pivotal NFC East battle. Only on the NFL on Fox.
Yeah, I hear you, Artrell.
Yeah, somebody tell John Lucas and the Star Wars people that if James Earl Jones ever decides to shut it down and not do the Darth Vader voice anymore, there's your guy. First and 10 after a Detroit penalty while we were away. Play action once again. And Brady swings it out to Corey Dillon, who's wrapped up at the 16-yard line as we swing it out to our friend Chris Rose in Los Angeles.
Man, Matt, Artrell's got some pipes, doesn't he? And Reggie Bush has got some moves. 3rd and 7, he's going to get the first down. And Jason Pearson, I know this is your cousin. Look at the power at the end. He gets it down to the goal line. He would get it in on the next play. And the Saints lead the Niners 7-3. Back to Matt, JC, and Artrell.
Chris, thanks. All of Troy was wishing that Reggie was still in a USC Trojans uniform yesterday after that disappointing loss.
Fumble.
And a fumble on the carry. Trey Bly picks up the Patrick pass fumble, and the Patriots give it right back.
Detroit Lions team, there's no quit in these guys. They're 2-9, but they're coming out and they're coming to play. You see, he gets stripped right there. Trey Bly, obviously right in the right spot, picks that ball up. Can't tell exactly who stripped that ball out of there, but great job by this defense again, stepping up. They get put in an adverse situation. The offense turns the ball over. They come right back and take the ball back away from the Patriots.
Boy, what is turning into a real problem spot for New England. They fumbled the football 8 times in the last 2 weeks. They were able to win those 2 games, however. But a potentially costly give up here as Corey Schlesinger is the split wideout in this alignment for Detroit. The carry by Kevin Jones. Let's take you back to the fumble.
Go back to this fumble. Watch right here, just comes up the field, comes right back under, and just strips that ball away. That's Corey Smith, number 93, the defensive end.
The fumble giveth away. The fumble taketh back for Detroit. 2nd and 7 for Kitna now. Over the middle and incomplete. Tried to get it to the ex-Cowboy Dan Campbell.
Again, you can see Kitna trying to get guys lined up right, and he's not changing the play at the line of scrimmage because in this system there are no audibles, there are no checks. Everything is sight adjustments based on the coverage. That's why the wide receivers and the quarterback have to see the same thing, be on the same page, or else the quarterback is going to throw the ball to a spot and the wide receiver will be somewhere else.
An offense that throws the football more than any other in the National Football League. On 3rd and 7 now, Kitna on the move, gets out of one trouble spot, and finally throws toward the corner of the end zone. The pass is batted away. Asante Samuel had the good coverage on Roy Williams, and that'll bring on the Detroit field goal unit.
And again, the pressure comes from the outside. John Kitna, and he's able to buy some time with his feet and throws the ball down to Roy Williams, but Roy Williams double covered. Look at the safety coming over the top. Asante Samuel playing underneath. Just knocks that ball away from Roy Williams.
This considered a chip shot for Jason Hansen the last 6 seasons. 81 of 83 from under 40 yards. And Hansen is up and good. The Lions adding on the road. Well, New England turnover results in a Detroit Lions field goal, and Detroit with a 10-7 or 10-3 lead rather, with 3:19 left in the half. JC, is something Tom Brady told us just the other day, that the Patriots feel the only way they can lose is if they beat themselves, penalties and turnovers.
And their focus today was taking care of the football. He said they've been so inconsistent taking care of the football. Obviously, they had 5 turnovers last week against the Bears, and that was their focus today. He said when we don't turn the ball over, we can put points on the board. When we turn it over, that's when we really struggle, and obviously that turnover hurt them.
Certainly rare to see a Patriots team in December making rather un-Belichick-like mistakes as Kevin Falk brings the kick back from the 5-yard line up the middle of the field and is finally cut down at the 27. This is game 2, of course, in the turf history in this stadium. They ripped up the old mud track that used to be here in Foxborough and did this in record time. In fact, Bob Kraft was kind enough to visit with us and tell us that they did this at great expense incurred by the team. All the liability was on the Patriots to try and turn it over as quickly as they did, and they haven't had a single complaint yet.
That was fast.
The end around. And Troy Brown breaks it across the 40-yard line. A big gainer as New England goes to their playbook here to begin the drive.
Watch Kalimba Edwards. He's going to get up the field. Right here, he's almost going to make this play. Just can't quite grab Troy Brown, and now there's not a lot of people left out there, and it's a big play on that reverse. Normally, in order for a reverse to be successful, you got to either trick a guy, that backside defensive end, or you got to get around him. That time, Troy Brown got around him.
Evans and Dillon out of the eye. Play action. Brady throws to a wide-open Riche Caldwell. Underthrown, incomplete. Brady was hit as he threw, but had Riche Caldwell standing there by his lonesome. Cleveland Pinckney had the pressure for the Lions.
And that's what we said early in the game. You've got to get pressure on Tom Brady. You can't let him just sit back there and set his feet and get comfortable. That time, Pinckney was able to get in his face, cause that ball to be thrown short, and it's a good thing he did because Caldwell was wide open down the sideline.
Brady and Caldwell had something nice going in the first quarter, connecting 4 times for 63 yards. been connection-less since. Brady steps up, somebody loses a mouthpiece, and there's a target for Brady. It's Jabbar Gaffney, his first reception of the afternoon, first down New England. As once again, we check in with Chris Rose in Los Angeles.
All right, Matt, you Michael Vick haters, stop it! At least for one play. 7 of his 14 TD tosses have ended up in the hands of Algie Crumpler. The Falcons, who have lost 4 straight, are down just 4 against the Redskins. Back to Matt and JC.
Not a game that captured everybody's imaginations outside of the Michael Vick story here. As time ticks away toward the 2-minute warning here in the first half, New England with a couple of big passing plays on the move prior to halftime. Two-minute warning in Foxborough. We remind you coming up, it's the Visa halftime report. Kurt, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy be along with all the scores and highlights. The Fox Sports ticker will roll with all the latest stats. Learn about Indianapolis trying to clinch the AFC South. The Bears trying to clinch the NFC North. 2 minutes left in the half as Kevin Falk is the lone back with Brady. 1st and 10 from the Detroit 29. Brady over the middle, caught by Benjamin Watson. First down, 1st and goal, New England.
And again, Brady just checks to that play. Has Ben Watson outside, isolated on Daniel Bullock, the safety. Right here, Bullock, look at him playing outside shade, and now Watson just runs that quick slant to the inside, and Watson runs a 4-4, even though he's a tight end. He runs like a wide receiver, so anytime they can get him isolated outside on a safety, they feel like that's a winning combination for them.
Watson, the third-year tight end, knew he'd be a big part of the offense this season with all the turnover at wideout. Corey Dillon, touchdown, Patriots. Dillon's 8th TD of the year.
That's the power running that they want to get to. And Heath Evans, the fullback, is kind of the unsung hero on this offense. You don't hear a lot about that guy, but he does all the dirty work, clearing the way for guys like Corey Dillon and Lawrence Maroney.
Boy, that was a quick strike drive indeed by New England. As the Gostowski PAT is through, 73 yards in just over 2 minutes.
Watch Heath Evans, the fullback here. He's just going to lead Corey Dillon to the left. He takes out the contain guy right there, just absolutely blows up the contain. Watch the contain right here. It's Keith Smith, the cornerback, just clears him out of there and allows Corey Dillon just to do what he does, and that's run downhill with power. You're not going to stop him, not from that close to the goal line. But a good 2-minute drive, and that was something else that Tom Brady told us is, they wanted to take care of the football and they had to work on their 2-minute offense. They haven't been good in their 2-minute offense, and I think that's because they haven't really, the wide receivers really haven't come together. And obviously, Rashae Caldwell's made some plays in the first quarter, but now with those receivers starting to get comfortable in this offense, they can spread the ball around. Really helps them in the 2-minute offense.
So 6 penalties and a turnover. And New England, with that touchdown now, has a chance to go into the locker rooms at halftime right back to a push.
And I'm sure that's what they expect. Last week they turned the ball over 5 times. They still had 324 total yards. They won that game against the Bears. When you're a winning team, you have confidence that no matter what happens, you can get it done.
Eddie Drummond, the deep man for the Lions, starts the return inside the 5. And Drummond is brought down shy of the 30-yard line. Coming this February, the world's best drivers return to Fox, going door to door to see who'll take home the checkered flag in the 49th running of the Great American Race. Beginning in February 2007, Fox Sports is the exclusive home to the Daytona 500. So just over a minute left in the half for John Kitna and the Lions offense. It's been a productive half for Kitna. Certainly they've benefited from Kevin Jones coming back from that injury. And Mike Furley, their leading receiver. In and out of the hands of Jones. Been a frustrating year for John Kitna, JC. Just getting back to something we talked about earlier. And when we visited with him yesterday, trying to stay as positive as he was, you could tell that he's really been frustrated this season.
He really has, and you can see he wants to get the ball to Roy Williams, but Roy's having a hard time getting off the line of scrimmage off of that press coverage.
Kitna steps up, and Furry wide open in the middle of the field, tackled shy of the 50. First down Detroit, and Kitna will spend a Lions timeout. Mike Furry having a fantastic half here this afternoon. We remind you the Visa halftime report is coming up next here on Fox. Scores from around the league, the Fox Sports ticker rolling as well, but there's a little matter of about 54 seconds left for head coach Rod Marinelli to try to manufacture something here before the break. And after that 21-yard pickup, which, by the way, gives Mike Furry a game-high 77 receiving yards today. Well, the Lions are knocking on the door closer to at least getting into Jason Hansen field goal range. From the Detroit 48, here's Kitna out of the shotgun. Picked off. Asante Samuel again. His NFL leading 7th INT of the year.
Again, they try to go to that dig route, that deep in route. Asante Samuel just plays right under it. You can see Kitna talking to his receiver, telling him he's got to go, but the protection up front is good. He's got time to throw the ball, no one in his face until late. Then down the field, you see Asante Samuel, they're just playing two-man. So he's playing underneath the wide receivers. He's going to run under any cut that the receiver makes, and Kitna's telling him he's got to go. But that's tough to throw against two-man. Not worried about the deep route because the safety's over the top.
So now it's Brady and the Patriots with a chance to do something before the intermission. And a wobbler is caught by Falk out of the backfield for a modest gain. Let's go back to Asante Samuel for a moment. What a difference maker he's been the past couple of weeks. Last week in the win over Chicago, Asante Samuel caught as many Rex Grossman passes as Muhsin Muhammad did. With 3 interceptions, it gave him AFC Defensive Player of the Week honors. And Asante Samuel is collecting quite a collection of interception footballs. He keeps each one of them.
Does he?
And he's running out of room this year.
Yeah, he may collect a bunch of money at the end of the year, too. His contract is up. He's a free agent. And, when you play like that. And watch Asante Samuel. He's playing two-man, so he's going to let the receiver, Bradford, just run by him. He's going to play underneath any route that he runs. If he breaks it off, Asante Samuel's going to get his head around and find the football. That's exactly what he did. Cornerbacks love to play two-man. Takes the pressure off, having to run deep.
2nd and 9. Brady stepping up to avoid pressure down the middle of the field. Reshae Caldwell. That play has been there for much of the afternoon. And Brady quickly trying to get his Patriots to the line. So after a 28-yard pickup, a timeout on the field. New England spending their final timeout of the half. But this is Tom Brady at its best. At his best, that is.
And he's just so cool, so calm, so collected. He's been there. He's done it. He knows how to do it. Successful.
Yeah, in a rare occasion where Michiganders will root against Tom Brady. And in his first 100 starts, making number 101 today. Just a few of the highlights. 76 wins in those 100 starts. With the victory last week against Chicago, he became the all-time winningest Patriots quarterback, bettering Steve Grogan's 75 career wins. Much more where that's coming from. Brady's hit as he throws, and they whistle it dead. To the vehement protest of Corey Smith, who applied the hammer.
Again, Corey Smith, good job. He's just going to run right around Matt Light. Just uses speed, just runs right around the edge and gets to Tom Brady before he can get that ball off.
Where are all the Raider fans? Where's the tuck there, they're saying. The check down pass to Kevin Falk, running for a New England first down inside the red zone. Not a play designed to chew up 20-plus yards. That's a gain of 21 with 19 seconds and plenty of time left for some kind of scoring opportunity.
That's a good call. When you get a team that's being aggressive defensively, they're getting up the field, trying to get to the quarterback. You let those guys through and you just drop that screen off to the running back. Usually has a lot of room to run.
Falk, the Patriots' all-time receptions leader among running backs. 3 catches for him today. Brady's pass caught by Doug Gabriel. He gets his name into the proceedings for the first time today. Perfect route, perfect throw.
And perfect timing. The ball is in the air before Gabriel even comes out of his break, and it's right on the money. And that's why you got to, if you're going to get after the quarterback, you got to disrupt those wide receivers as well. Throw that timing off.
First and goal now from the Lions' 9. Brady with time, with an open Doug Gabriel, but it was coming too hot.
Defensively, if you don't get to the quarterback, you've got to disrupt those wide receivers. Look at the room you have out there. Doug Gabriel just comes up, runs and out. The ball's already in the air. The defensive back has no chance of making that play. Keith Smarty, guys got to jump up there. You got to disrupt that timing. If not, you're going to get picked apart.
So Brady out of the shotgun with 9 ticking seconds left. Brady on the move and finally throws it away. Cleveland Pinckney was coming. It was kind of a slow come, but he was there.
And Brady looks like he starts limping, like maybe strained a hammy or something on that play. But a smart play, because if he would have tried to continue to run this ball, the clock would have run out. But he just throws this ball away. Then at the end of this, he pulls up a little bit, like his hamstring may have tightened up a bit on him. But now that leaves 3 seconds left and they can get a field goal.
So now the rookie kicker, Steven Gostowski, from 27 yards. He's made 10 of his last 11. And sneaks that one just through the uprights. Points off turnovers. New England takes advantage. A last-second field goal to get us into halftime. And the Patriots, despite turnovers and penalties, enjoy a halftime lead. The Visa Halftime Report is coming up next. A lot of passing yards in the first half of this game, back with J.C. Pearson, Matt Vasgersian, but unfortunately for both teams, penalties and turnovers. And though New England has really tried to give this thing to the Lions early, the Lions haven't been able to take advantage.
And that's the big thing for the Lions. They can't afford to turn the ball over. They turned it over on the 2-yard line going in, turned it over on the 30-yard line going in. That's points that they should have had on the board that they lost, and they're not good enough right now to overcome that. You expect New England, even though they're struggling, you expect those guys to correct their mistakes and get better, and that's what they did.
Well, before we kick it off for the second half, let's check in with Jennifer Hammond.
As far as head coach Rod Marinelli goes, obviously he said defensively they kind of put us on our heels there at the end of the first half, that they've got to play their own game, and certainly they've got to keep on getting pressure on Tom Brady. Bill Belichick said that as far as the penalty situation goes, they've had him in all phases of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. They need to get pressure conversely on John Kitna and protect Brady and give him more time to complete passes. Guys?
Jennifer, thanks. John Kittner with an impressive first half, 9 of 19, 127 yards, 194 in the air for Tom Brady. Eddie Drummond takes the opening kick to start the second half, bounces off a pile, and then is finally wrapped up at the 20-yard line. A look at our first half stats. We mentioned the yardage in the air. A healthy Kevin Jones means a little bit more of a rushing game for the Lions. But 3 turnovers in the first half, something that you didn't come into this game expecting to see, certainly from a Patriots standpoint.
Yeah, and they only have the 1, but the 2 from the Lions, like I said earlier, really hurt them. And we said coming in the open that they've got to control the time of possession. They did a pretty good job of that. Those turnovers obviously hurt them. They need to keep Tom Brady and that offense off the field.
So from the 22-yard line is where John Kittner begins his opening second half possession with a run around the right or left side rather to Kevin Jones that results in a gain of 2. For the latest in fantasy stats, log on to foxsports.com. Our fantasy check here. One would have been wise to play a quarterback from this matchup so far.
And one did.
Did you start Tom Brady on your team this week?
That was my fantasy pick. The Fox Watch, the whip around.
See, folks, watch that Fox Watch.
Get some good insight.
JC hooked you up.
Yeah.
2nd and 7 now for the Lions. And people moving all kinds of activity on the line to see if Ty Warren came in unabated or if he was drawn offsides.
That hard count by Kittner. It's a good tool to use, especially when you get guys up the field.
Approachment. Defense, number 94. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
You can hear this hard count by John Kittner. That hard hut. Defensive linemen, a lot of times they start listening to the cadence instead of watching the ball like they're supposed to. They want to get up the field so quickly and get to the quarterback, they start guessing and listening to the cadence.
On 2nd and 2, the hand to Jones for a Detroit first down and plenty more as he's finally upended at the 40-yard line by James Sanders. So 7 penalties by the Patriots here this afternoon. That started on Detroit's opening drive, and it continues in the second half.
Watch the guard, Verba. Watch him come. He's going to seal the edge for Kevin Jones. Not sure who to block right now, but then does a good job. Then the receiver down the field, Mike Furry, good job blocking the corner.
Josh McCown, the backup quarterback, is checked in at receiver for the second time this year. The hand is to Kevin Jones up the middle for a gain of maybe 2 yards. Josh McCown's only action all year has been as a wide receiver, 2 snaps this season.
Hey, the more you can do. Josh McCown right here lines up at wide receiver. I don't think they're too worried about him running by anybody. He's a good athlete, though, and a lot of times the quarterbacks are typically good athletes. In high school, they played multiple positions, wide receiver, safety. You never know. You might sneak that guy by somebody.
Josh McCown, a big high school basketball standout. 2nd and 6 now for Detroit. Furry in motion. They fake the end around and instead hand it off to Kevin Jones. Tackled by Teddy Bruschi. You know, part of this, JC, has been the improved line play of the Lions today. It's been a much maligned group. Rod Marinelli made some changes today. Part of it is getting Ross Verba healthy. He missed 5 games with a hamstring this year. Sipaia's in at right guard. Barry Stokes gets the start at right tackle. And they've had a lot more success with this group this afternoon.
Yeah, you've got to run the ball. And here's Josh McCown in the game again, the backup quarterback.
They split him wide at the top of your screen on 3rd and 3. Kittner looks the other way, and Mike Furry can't hang on. A flag on the play, however.
High to the pass. Stealing use of hands. Hands to the face. Number 22 of the defense. It's a 5-yard penalty. First down.
Asante Samuel guilty of the infraction. It results in a first down. The 8th penalty of the afternoon by the New England Patriots.
And they want to be physical with Roy Williams. Roy Williams, a bigger wide receiver, and you got to get your hands up. That time, Asante Samuel gets his hands too high up into the face of Roy Williams.
That's a little ticky-tacky, don't you think?
Yeah.
You got a little play at some point. Arlen Harris in the backfield now. Kittner with some time as he dances around and has the pass caught by Harris. A gain of 8 for the Lions as they continue to move with some help by New England.
And the Patriots, the season high in penalties already today in the third quarter. 8 penalties, 55 yards. You know, it started with that opening drive. They had a couple offsides penalties, false starts. You got to worry about the concentration when things like that happen. When too many penalties occur, it means everybody's not concentrating fully.
Schlesinger and Harris in the eye behind Kittner. The handoff is to Harris. Good for a first down as he breaks it inside the 30 before Mike Vrabel wraps him up. On cue, the Lions running game. Buoyed by a resurgent offensive line this afternoon.
And you know, you always wonder about a trap game. You say, yeah, we're focused. We come into every week wanting to play, and Belichick cautioned them all week long, but still, it's human nature to think that we're playing the Detroit Lions. They're 2-9. We just beat the Chicago Bears, the mighty Chicago Bears. We can just show up and win. And obviously, that's not going to work today. The Lions are ready to play.
The quick pass is caught and dropped by Dan Campbell. He whistled that dead quickly. Second down.
You know, Rod Marinelli, when we talked to him, he said he puts pressure on his players every week. Even though they're not playing for the playoffs, they're playing to get better. They're playing for job security. He still has them going out in full pads because he's teaching them the mentality that he wants them to have, and that's playing under pressure. He grades every player out. He puts it up at the team meeting so the entire team knows who's performing and who's not. It's peer pressure also.
Lions trying to get inside the New England red zone for the 4th time this afternoon. Caught by Josh McCown. Come on, I want to see the backup quarterback smile making a reception this afternoon.
Hey, the more you can do. He may have found him new position, slash. The new slash, Josh McCown. Just working in the slot, coming across the field underneath the coverage of Mike Vrabel, dropping off that zone coverage and catches the ball. Does a good job catching it with his hands and getting up the field.
Well, Josh McCown battled for playing time under Denny Green in Phoenix. He might have found a niche here with the Lions. Timeout on the field.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 41. By Nissan, who invites you to shift the way you move through the world. By Best Buy, wrap up the wow this holiday season only at Best Buy. And by Diet Pepsi, live NFL, drink Diet Pepsi.
Busy football afternoon here on Fox. And first things first, before we get into the All-State BCS selection show and the OT presented by Lowe's, we've got New England trying to hold. 3rd and 2 for the Lions. Kevin Jones, no such luck, and that'll bring up a 4th down. Tully Banta-Cain making the stop, along with Teddy Bruschi. Mike Vrabel in on the tackle.
Just going to try this quick dive to the left side. You see Vrabel, everybody jumping inside, trying to jump up the field and make the tackle, and really nowhere to run. Line of scrimmage there. You see Seymour coming down.
Jason Hansen from 38 to tie it. And Hansen, as per usual, is up and good. The Lions have pulled back to even. 9:09 left in the 3rd.
Well, we talked about in our focus point for the Lions, you've got to keep Tom Brady off the field. An 11-play drive, took almost 6 minutes off the clock, and they were able to get 3 points on it. Ideally, they want to get 7, but they were able to get 3 and tie this game up. But that 6 minutes that Tom Brady's on the sidelines not being able to score.
And as much as Mike Martz likes to throw it, even Mike Martz in his aerial philosophy would admit you got to have a running game, and the Lions have that this afternoon. Kevin Falk across the 25-yard line and tackled at the 30. That's where Brady and the New England offense goes to work for the 13-13 tie. A 13-13 tie with 9:05 left in the third quarter, and for the first time this half, Brady and the offense on the field. Their last 2 drives prior to halftime, much more the New England offense that fans are used to seeing. Had their best success prior to that halftime break, and that one caught by Daniel Graham for a New England first down. Ernie Sims had the coverage for the Lions.
You know, this is a big game for New England. When you look at the AFC standings, obviously the Jets are at 6-5. They're winning right now against Green Bay. But when you look at the playoff picture, New England, they want to play for a bye. With Baltimore losing on Thursday night to Cincinnati, New England's got a great shot here to get that number 2 seed and a bye. But they've got to win some games.
The pitch to Corey Dillon, and after a gain of maybe a yard, he's run out of bounds by Dre Bly.
You know, we talk about that AFC playoff picture. You know, when you look at New England, Brady obviously with the guys that he has, he can spread the ball around. Baltimore has the top defense, even though they lost on Thursday. The Colts got the best record with obviously Peyton Manning, and then San Diego. You can't count those guys out. LT guy has lots of touchdowns already this year, probably going to break the all-time record. That's why this game is important for the Patriots.
And San Diego and Indy getting all they can handle from Buffalo and Tennessee, respectively. Each of those games are in the second half. Here's Brady on 2nd and 8, and that's intercepted. Dre Bly with his 2nd of the year, his 32nd career pick. And the Patriots have turned it over again.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Aragon. December 15th, only in theaters.
Well, Tom Brady picked off twice last week in the win. See if New England can overcome more turnovers this afternoon. The Bly interception gives the Lions offense the ball at midfield. The check down pass caught by Kevin Jones, still on his feet. First down, Lions. Artrell Hawkins had to rough him out of bounds. And the Lions think it was too rough indeed.
Go back to that interception by Dre Bly. Great job in man-to-man bump and run coverage. Rashae Caldwell starts to drop his hips. Dre Bly drops his hips, change directions, then gets his eyes back to the football. Able to make that interception and beat Caldwell back to the point.
Well, after the interception, that first down play is coming back because of a personal foul call on the Lions offensively. And negating a nice broken play pickup by Kevin Jones. Well, Dre Bly's big interception, and once again, turnovers continue to haunt the Patriots today. I would imagine you could hear all about that pick on the Dre Bly show on the radio back in Michigan, everywhere.
Yeah, and what Dre Bly does so well is he studies film. He studies receivers, and he sees when a guy is dropping his hips. If you're not a technician running routes, he's going to see it, he's going to pick it up, and he's going to jump on it in the game.
We talked to Dre Bly about this matchup against Tom Brady in particular. He was quick to defer and call Tom Brady the best quarterback in the game, paying his respects to Peyton Manning at the same time. But a big interception for Bly here. First and 10 from the Detroit 47. Dan Campbell, the tight end, in motion. Pass rush. Kitna gets it away. There's Roy Williams down the middle of the field. First down, Lions. Artrell Hawkins making the stop for New England.
And that's the bread and butter play right there. But again, New England turning the ball over, 8 penalties. They're giving up a sack. And, all the things that you combine all those things together, and it just tells you a team that really wasn't ready to play this game today. I think they kind of overlooked the Detroit Lions, and the Lions are coming out there playing well. You see the 8 penalties is really the key there.
Josh McCown split wide once again for Detroit. That one up in the air, batted around and incomplete. Both Artrell Hawkins and Asante Samuel had a chance to intercept.
Asante Samuels knocked this ball away from Artrell Hawkins. They've been running a lot of deep in routes. See this time it's Mike Furry running that deep in, and Samuels jumps the end this time and tips that ball away from Artrell Hawkins. But you see Josh McCown, number 12, again in at wide receiver. And you got to wonder, why is that happening when you got Mike Williams, who was a #1 draft pick for you, on the sideline? He's not playing. Unless you're trying to set up some kind of trick play, why is a backup quarterback in before a #1 pick?
And timeout on the field as Kitna wants to discuss matters. .6:49 left in the third quarter. A 13-13 tie between the heavy favorites, the homestanding Patriots, and the visiting Lions. Once again, Josh McCown sets up wide as a receiver. The handoff is to Kevin Jones. More penalty markers on the field. Patriots indicating that this one's on the Lions.
Holding, number 67 of the offense. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
That's the right guard, Blaine Sipaia.
The Lions have a lot going on offensively. That time again, they line Kitna up in the slot to the left. McCown is on the right, and then they shift. Kitna comes back to the quarterback position, and then McCown splits all the way out to the right. So, obviously, if you're coordinator of the Patriots, you got to think that they're trying to set something up by having Josh McCown in the game so much.
So does this look like the same Rod Marinelli coach team that told you and I yesterday he doesn't like to use trickery, he just wants to go out there and beat you?
No tricks, no gadgets, just pad level and toughness.
All kinds of shenanigans today, however. Kitna steps up in the pocket. Here comes Teddy Bruschi, and there goes John Kitna.
The other thing, it's second and long, and you still have McCown in the game. You're not going to trick anybody there, and then they have him running a route. Get your wide receivers in the game unless you don't have confidence in them. See, nobody's open down the field. Bruschi just kind of playing that spy position. Is able to just come down when Kitna runs the ball and makes the tackle.
Third and long now. Kitna over the middle for Mike Furry. The pass is caught shy of a first down, however. Working on Ellis Hobbs, the right corner. And Mike Furry, part of a big afternoon on the road. His 7th reception of the game. Again, not enough to convert on a first down, but enough to get Jason Hansen in the field goal unit onto the field. This will be from 49 yards away. Hansen's season long is 53. For the lead. Slips it through. One of the longest of the season by the veteran kicker. And Detroit goes back on top. As we've already mentioned, it's a busy day of football on Fox on this Sunday. After USC's upset loss yesterday, the BCS title picture became even cloudier. Who plays the Buckeyes? Find out on Fox tonight.
No question. What do you think? You think Florida? You think rematch? What do you think is going to happen? Obviously, SC's not going.
I think if Tom Brady would have his way, it would be his alma mater against Mike Vrabel's alma mater, and they could have another bet
I think it's got to be Florida. I think that's the surprise. Florida jumps Michigan. That's my opinion. I think that would be the better matchup. Michigan had their shot. Even though they played them close, they had their chance. I think Florida deserves it after going through that rough SEC schedule. They played the toughest schedule in the nation. Give them a shot.
Well, Riche Caldwell, his alma mater. Florida Gators are in that picture as well. All coming up later on in the All-State BCS selection show. Kevin Falk inside the 10. And dancing at the 20-yard line before being tackled. That's where the Patriots will take over. You know, you talk about upsets, and UCLA upsetting USC yesterday to ruin Pete Carroll's opportunity to get into the BCS championship game. We've got an upset in the making here.
We do, and you got to credit Rod Marinelli, I think, because he told us how much he prepares these guys. He really believed in these guys, and the way that he practices, the way that he told us, I really believe in. He said he doesn't take it easy on these guys. We're in full pads. Even though it's late in the season, he had to change the mentality, and he's still changing the mentality of a lot of these players that were here prior to him, trying to make them tougher, trying to make them understand what it takes to win football games. 7 of their losses have been by 7 points or less. So they're not making plays when they have a chance to win the game. And today it looks like it's going to be another one of those games.
After a hold on the return, the 9th penalty of the afternoon charge to New England. They start at the 10, and hit for a loss is Corey Dillon. Well, let's talk about that big USC-UCLA showdown yesterday at the Rose Bowl. Crosstown rivals meeting. USC had won 5 in a row. C.J. Gable's TD put USC up. And then a Justin Medlock field goal put the Bruins ahead. Booty picked off with a minute remaining, sealed it up for Carl Durrell, and an enormous upset victory for the Bruins of UCLA. Brady loses the football as he throws. It's jumped on in the end zone, and the Lions are saying safety. Indeed, 2 points for Detroit as Brady lost the football. Heath Evans recovered in the end zone, and the safety is credited to the Lions.
And the pressure again that the Lions have been able to get on Tom Brady. See, they've kind of confused him all day long with who's coming, who's not coming. They bring 5 guys right there just from the outside. Kenoy Kennedy blitzing off the edge, just gets that right hand on the ball and before Tom Brady can throw it. Heath Evans recovers it in the end zone, but it's a safety. 2 points for the Lions, and the Lions get the ball back.
Let me tell you, the Lions have reversed some season-long trends today. Their running game has held up well. Their pass protection has held up. And something that hadn't happened for much of the year, they have put an effective pass rush on Tom Brady this afternoon. Cleveland Pinckney, Jared DeVries, and you know, they're not even at 100%, as you mentioned. Their big guy in the middle, their run stuffer is inactive.
John Rodgers out, yeah.
They don't know when he's coming back at this point, but boy, credit the Detroit defense this afternoon.
Yeah, Donnie Henderson, the defensive coordinator, he said all day last night that all day long they've got to disguise what they're doing and blitz when they're supposed to cover and cover when they're supposed to blitz tendency-wise, and they've changed it up.
And Detroit will get the ball back, as JC mentioned, with fantastic field position. They'll start the drive at the 42-yard line. Not the kind of New England Patriot line that we've seen very often.
No, and that doesn't even show the pressures that they've gotten on Tom Brady. And like I said, one of the things that Donnie Henderson, the defensive coordinator for the Lions, told us is, you know, they had to break some tendencies. Now, obviously, teams study the tendencies of their opponents, and he said we're going to blitz when we're supposed to cover, and we're going to cover when we're supposed to blitz, and see if we can create some havoc and confusion. They've done that.
Jones in motion on 1st and 10 for Detroit. Kitna with the deep ball, Roy Williams, and it's incomplete. Covered well by Artrell Hawkins from the free safety spot. Roy Williams told us yesterday that after Week 7 against the Jets, he has drawn a lot more attention. The Jets were the first team he could recall this year double covering him from the outset of the game, and that's a philosophy that a lot of the defenses have used since.
But then that's why a guy like Mike Furry, he said, I got to get another guy on the opposite, and Furry's having a big game today. Got 7 grabs and 94 yards, and here's another.
There he is on the quick slant. A pickup of 8 before once again Artrell Hawkins makes the tackle. Mike Furry had a team-best 7 receptions last week.
And here's Josh McCown outside. Furry inside. He's able to just work to that open spot. They've got to have 3 wide receivers in this offense. And Josh McCown lining up outside again. I'm not quite sure why that is. You know, when you've got a guy, and now Mike Williams is in the game. He's obviously their 4th receiver today. That's Mike Williams right there now.
And the quick slant this time is incomplete. Flag on the play. Ellis Hobbs was covering Mike Furry. And it's going to go against New England.
Yeah, just got there too early. And the Patriots, they better be careful here because they could get an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty here. They're all in the referee's face.
Pass interference, number 22 in the defense. Ball replacement, spot on the foul. First down.
It was number 27, actually. Ellis Hobbs on the slot. Ellis Hobbs, he's going to come down. Now he's just too early right there. That's an easy call. Obviously the fans and the Patriots don't like that, but that's an easy call. He got there before the ball did.
I don't mean to sound like a broken record for New England fans, but that's the 10th penalty against the Patriots this afternoon. It's been a major story, and this time Kevin Jones is stuck for a loss. Roosevelt Colvin, who moved over to the strong side today in Junior Seau's absence. We haven't called his name quite as often as he had his name called against the Bears last week.
And that's because he switched sides. You know, when Seau was here, Colvin played on that open side, the weak side on the outside, and he was a guy that was coming a lot. Now he's got to switch to the strong side, play over the tight end, because Vrabel, who was in that spot, goes to the inside backer spot to replace Seau.
After a loss of 2, Kipner looking downfield and can't get out of the way of big Ty Warren. Warren's 2nd sack of the afternoon.
And you can't put that on the offensive line of the Lions. Yes, it was good coverage down the field by the by the Patriots. You see just playing cover 2, not a lot of places to throw the ball, but Kitten has got to realize this. He's got to realize the pressure's coming. He's got to throw the ball. If nobody's open, you don't see anything, get rid of it. You know the pressure's coming. You can't take that sack and get yourself in 3rd and 22.
Again, only Charlie Fry of the Browns has been sacked more than John Kipner. McCown once again lining up wide. And the check down to Jones. He's going to make something out of nothing here. First down, Detroit on a broken play. 3rd and long, and the Lions convert.
Great play by Kevin Jones. Kevin Jones picks up the blitz. He knows that he's catching the ball. It's a called screen in the huddle. Kevin Jones is going to step up, take on the blitzer, and then leak out on the screen. Great job right here, and then look at him. That's the way you sell it. You step up, you block, and now you leak out on the screen. You make one guy miss, Roosevelt Colvin, and now you got a lot of room to run down the field. That is a great play by Kevin Jones.
1st and 10 from the Patriots 29. Getting a play action, being chased, flag on the play. He checks it down to Arlen Harris this time. We got 2 penalties on the play.
And a hat. You got all kinds of things flying around down there on the field. He already threw his flag. He saw something else and he threw his hat.
What happens after they throw a flag and a hat? What's next if there's a 3rd penalty?
I really don't want to see that. I don't know.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Ineligible downfield. Number 51 of the offense. That penalty will be declined. Holding. Number 63 of the offense. That penalty will be accepted. 10 yards, still first down.
We'll explain in a moment. First, tomorrow night live at 8, 7 Central. Get ready for the 2006 Billboard Music Awards with performances from some of the biggest stars in the music world. Live from Las Vegas tomorrow night, 8, 7 Central, right here on Fox. So both penalties charged to the Lions. New England accepts the holding call, which backs Detroit up to first and 20. Boy, and what a skewed clock it's been since halftime. The Lions have had the ball virtually all half. Kitna somehow gets out of danger and finds a wide open Josh McCown. Flag on the play.
And this is going to go against Josh McCown. If you want a guy to be a receiver, put a receiver in the game.
Pass interference. Offense, number 12. It's a 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
And that's why he was so wide open, I guess.
Yeah, but again, he's the backup quarterback. You want a guy to be a wide receiver, make some plays for you. You know, get the guys out there that you're paying to catch the ball. See, he runs it out and up. He's just going to push off right there. As subtle as that is, he pushes off. They're going to call you for that every time. You know, and don't take anything away from Josh McCown. He's doing the best job that he can do. But again, you're paying that guy to throw the football and not catch it. And now you bring Mike Williams in, your former #1 draft pick, who's now playing behind your backup quarterback at a wide receiver position.
It's first in Rhode Island. And there's Furry, complete inside the 30. John Kitna is, to borrow a Red Sox phrase, cowboying up on the road here in New England this afternoon.
Doing a great job just surveying the field, and they're mixing their plays up real well, but he's throwing the ball to the open guys. You know, the secondary of New England, I mean, let's be real, they're not the best secondary in the league. They get a lot of help from the rush up front.
After a 21-yard gain, deep ball into the corner in the end zone for Roy Williams. Incomplete. Williams went up and over Asante Samuel, but Samuel was there to swat it away.
You want to take some shots down the field. When we talked to Roy Williams, he said, you know, somebody's got to step up. We've got to have at least 3 big pass plays, 25 yards or more in this game. You got to stretch the field, then allow our other guys to work underneath coverages. That was a shot down the field that he almost came up with.
Reminder, second game of our doubleheader coming up on Fox. The Cowboys at the Giants. Mike Furry in motion on 3rd and 9. Play clock ticking down. Kitna just gets it away. The pass is complete to Kevin Jones for a Detroit first down.
Great job working the mismatches. He gets the right time, even though this is a quick throw, but he's working the mismatches, finding them and hitting the open receiver.
What is going on in Foxborough this afternoon? The Lions on the move with the lead. The end of the third quarter. We'll return after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Well, a funky score on a funky afternoon in Foxborough. Detroit on top by 5 through 3 quarters. The start of the fourth quarter here, JC, and there weren't many people that gave the upstart Lions a chance today.
Nobody except them. And they talked about being the spoiler. Roy Williams did, and talked about they weren't going to quit. And they haven't.
Another flag.
False start, 67 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Second penalty charge to Blaine Sipaia. The Lions' share of the penalties, pardon the pun, have come from the home team. 10 New England violations. Just as a point of interest, the most by a Bill Belichick-coached Patriots team, 14.
You know, for some reason this year, they play better on the road than they do at home. Their 3 losses have all been at home. And obviously, if they don't pick this one up today, there's going to be number 4. But it seems like they concentrate better on the road.
Well, you sure can't blame the turf anymore. Corey Schlesinger split wide. Kitna's pass is caught by Roy Williams, and the Lions are inside the 10-yard line. Roy Williams told us that from here on out, he and his teammates want to play spoiler. He knows they're not going to the postseason dance, but they want to mess up everybody else's plans when given an opportunity.
See, a good job by Roy just going across the middle. He's got that big body. Not only does he have speed to beat you on the outside, but he can work the middle of the field because he's big and he's got those long arms to catch the ball.
On 2nd and 2, Jones is stuck at the line of scrimmage. Well, before that last carry, Kevin Jones with 123 all-purpose yards, and they've been tough yards here this afternoon.
And that's what this offense has been missing is Kevin Jones, because he's so versatile. He does so many things. He runs the ball well, but he catches the ball. He's that dual threat, can make a big play at any time. And obviously, we've seen that today. And when you think about this St. Louis style of offense that Mike Martz has instilled here, you got to think of a guy like Marshall Faulk. A guy that can run the ball, but also can catch the ball out of the backfield. That's the role that Kevin Jones is playing in this offense.
Chain gang measuring for the first down. Again, we remind you, Cowboys at Giants coming up after our coverage here. Game 2 of our Fox doubleheader, and Detroit will be just a wee short. You know, that can be a misleading number too, JC. You hear about a back with over 100 all-purpose yards, and sometimes it's like 1 or 2 big plays that give him that number. Nothing sexy today about Kevin Jones.
All hard work, and like we said in the open, he's the guy that has to continue to get the first downs, do the dirty work, move the chains, and let the other guys make the big plays, and that's what he's done.
3rd and a yard. Well, depending on who you talk to, we'll see if they made the first down or not. Vince Wilfork was there with the stop, as they've got to separate Richard Seymour and Blaine Sipaia. Again, at the start of the game, the Lions had the next to last 3rd down conversion percentage in the NFL.
Even though it's 4th and inches, they've got a decision to make here. Hanson's running on the field, and nobody really knows. They're going to discuss this, I think.
Yeah, the Lions were running out of time. They had to spend a timeout. 4th and 1. What does Coach Marinelli think?
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by DLP. HDTV powered by DLP. It's amazing. It's the Mirrors by Charles Schwab. Great service, great price. Why not both? Talk to Chuck. Charles Schwab. By State Farm. Great service, great rates. Nobody takes care of you like State Farm. And by Volkswagen Jetta. Safe happens.
Well, on 4th and inches, and after a Detroit timeout, they decide to send the field goal unit to the field, and on a 26-yard attempt is Jason Hanson, who again is just about automatic from that distance. Field goal is good, and the Lions have taken an 8-point lead in Foxborough. We remind you, Game 2 of our doubleheader here on Fox coming up after this one between the Lions and the Patriots. What a great rivalry it's been between Dallas and New York, a rivalry that's been lopsided in favor of one team depending on the era back and forth.
Parcells obviously with the Giants back in the 80s. Really brought those guys back. Now he's on the other side. Now he's with the Cowboys trying to get some wins for them.
First place on the line in the NFC East. Right now, the Giants hold the tiebreaker. They defeated Dallas in Week 7. That's the game when Tony Romo saw his first NFL action. And again, that's the second half of our doubleheader on Fox. Kevin Faulk with his Patriots down by 8. Out of bounds at the 26-yard line, marked out at the 27, and a flag on a late hit. Dante Curry applied the hit out of bounds.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 23, the kicking team. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Keith Smith, the man who applied the late hit.
You get excited, obviously, when you're beating the Patriots, but you got to keep your poise. And it's not on Keith Smith. That's a push. They can't call that. It had to be on Curry because Keith Smith, he just put two hands on him. He didn't even really push him that hard. You know, that last drive, that 4th and inches, that was a situation where Marinelli could have really given this team some confidence and shown the confidence he had in him. And we're going to go for it against one of the best teams in the league and get it and let's practice hard, let's play hard and win.
Brady checks it down to his halfback, Kevin Falk, who runs for a first down. Time for a game break with Chris Rose in Los Angeles.
Matt, I hope you started Reggie Bush in your fantasy league today. Not 1, not 2. Let's make it 3 touchdowns. Why not this one on the shovel pass? The Saints leading the Niners 24-10. Hey, that's JC's cousin, right, Matt?
And on the shovel pass. How about that?
Taught him all he knows. All he knows. Yeah, right.
1st and 10 for New England as they cross midfield. Brady with some time to set up, dumps it down to Falk again. It bounces off a hip and is tackled at the 44-yard line. Stanley Wilson had coverage for Detroit. They're more than just check down passes sometimes. A lot of design passing plays to Kevin Falk, who again is the all-time Patriots reception leader among running backs.
And New England going with their no-huddle offense. Obviously, they feel like they need 2 scores. They've got to get things going, change the tempo.
On 2nd and 8, there's the tight end Benjamin Watson for a New England first down. Big Benjamin Watson has already established career numbers for catches and receiving yards. And again, New England in the hurry up on 1st and 10 with the clock ticking at 11:30 left in the 4th quarter. A pass caught by Patrick Pass. Still rolling and inside the red zone. Taken down at the 19. First down, New England.
You see Patrick Pass catching that ball there. But I think what's hurt New England offensively is Lawrence Maroney went out early in that 1st quarter, and he's really their big play runner. Corey Dillon's more of the power guy. He's not going to break any big runs, and I think that's hurt this offense.
Oh, what would hurt the defense is if Ernie Sims can't get back to work. An injury timeout on the field.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
Well, the Lions' leading tackler and Defensive Rookie of the Year candidate Ernie Sims, the injured player, as he's able to walk off the field under his own power. Back to work on 1st and 10 now is Brady from the 19-yard line. Dumps it down once again to Kevin Falk, who is tackled at the 10. Alex Lewis, who replaced Sims, makes the tackle as they continue the 2-minute offensive drills.
They've got to hug up on Kevin Falk here. They're dropping deep in zone coverage. Those linebackers are dropping way out of there. They're turning and running and giving Kevin Falk a lot of room just to run those checkdowns.
2nd and 2. Again, it's Falk. We'll see if he has enough for the first down. Tackled once again by Alex Lewis.
Yeah, great tackle by Alex Lewis. Comes up, looked like this was going to be a big play. Watch him beat the block of Stephen Neal. 61 right there. He's just going to jump right inside of him and wrap Falk up. That's a great play.
New England shy of the first down, so on 3rd and a yard, call it. They go to a double tight end set. Troy Brown in motion. The hand is to Patrick Pass. First down, New England. You might be wondering at this point, JC, and you and I have been wondering, well, where the heck is Lawrence Maroney? He hasn't been on the field since the 1st quarter. We're being told by the Patriots that Maroney had the wind knocked out of him, though it looked like to us the hit that landed him on the sidelines was a blow to the head.
Yeah, got his belt wrong. There's no way you get the wind knocked out of you and you don't play the rest of the game. Not a big, strong guy like him.
Tough yardage on the inside again. Heath Evans, as it's been tailback by committee without Lawrence Maroney. But that's something that would have happened if Maroney was in there. Bill Belichick gets everybody touches in this offensive scheme.
And you can just kind of sense the increased sense of urgency by the Patriots, especially the offensive line. They're coming off, seem like they're firing off the ball a lot faster, a lot tougher than they have been.
New England has used 6 different ball carriers. Wow. Paris Lennon is steamed. I didn't see a flag, but we all heard the whistles.
I'm not sure what he's so upset about, because he's voicing it to his own sideline. I don't know if they had the wrong personnel in the game or wrong call.
There is no timeout since Detroit does not have any.
Well, the Lions, I'm not sure if did they try to spend one?
Maybe that's why he was upset, because somebody called the timeout, even though they don't have any. But isn't that a penalty?
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing myself. Because a phantom penalty accomplishes the same goal. Corey Dillon moving a pile and reaching pay dirt. Dillon's second rushing touchdown of the afternoon. One would guess that there's far too much time on the clock to think about a 2-point conversion try here.
Yeah, no question. And you can just see the sense of urgency in that drive from the offense of the Patriots. They come out, their no-huddle offense, they change the tempo, they make a couple plays throwing it, but then they really played smash-mouth football in that drive.
Well, we reserve the right to change our mind about the 2-point conversion try.
Wow. I guess you really have nothing to lose by going for 2 here. You kick the PAT, you still have to kick the field goal to take the lead. And if you don't get the 2-point conversion, you're only 2 points down.
Their one and only 2-point conversion try, one they converted, was a passing play. They move Troy Brown. They'll try to throw it in for 2 here. 2 points. Troy Brown. And the Patriots on the 2-point conversion have tied it at 21. Some game in Foxborough, we're all tied.
You can see they're over there trying to explain to Bill Belichick how there wasn't a penalty on the timeout called by the Detroit Lions when they didn't have one. The old Chris Webber deal.
Oh, you got to do that to the Michiganders?
Yeah, the Michigan Chris Webber timeout deal when you don't have one.
Eddie Drummond inside the 5. We're all tied up at 21. And Drummond is tackled shy of the 30-yard line. Again, game 2 of our doubleheader coming up on Fox. A battle for first place in the NFC East. Giants, Cowboys. Second game of our doubleheader is coming up next right here on Fox. But Tony Romo made his NFL debut in Week 7 against New York, and since that time, he has been awfully tough to stop.
Look at that completion percentage, 72% completion percentage.
What are the odds that's going to continue?
Not very high.
Tony Romo has been fantastic, and boy, it was certainly a discussion point, not only in Dallas, but around the NFL when he took that job from Drew Bledsoe. As Artrell Hawkins is the injured Patriot.
A lot of stuff going on with the Giants, too. Plaxico Burress, Michael Strahan, Tiki Barber, and Tom Coughlin. You know, a lot of conflict going on there.
Yeah, there has certainly been a lot of grief, and in fact, 2 teams that have just traded places. You know, the Cowboys were the team with all the contention and all the bickering and seeming infighting in the first 7 weeks of the season, but the Giants have superseded them here.
What happened to T.O.? You get a guy in there, throw him a couple balls, that's how you shut the guy up.
Model citizen. First and 10 for Kitten on the Lions. Play action down the middle of the field and an open tight end at midfield. Dan Campbell, speaking of ex-Giants and Cowboys. First down, Detroit. John Kitna now 20 of 34 as he creeps up on 300 passing yards. For John Kitna, this is one of his biggest yardage games since the midway point of the season. Passing on first down, picked off by Mike Vrabel. The benefit of being moved back inside. Vrabel gets an early gift. His second pick this season.
Yeah, the turnovers. You can see it seems like the Lions kind of pressed. They came out the first play, they threw a long ball down the middle, and then they come out and try to throw it again. What they should have been thinking about is, hey, let's put a sustained drive together, let's work the clock, let's help our defense out. They've been doing a great job of putting drives together, winning the time of possession. Now you put your defense in a bad position.
Two interceptions thrown by John Kitna. He's been picked off in 10 straight games. Kevin Falk is the back now with Brady on 1st and 10 with 7:50 left. Complete to Riche Caldwell just past midfield.
We talked about turnovers and how important not turning the ball over is, because if you look at the NFL facts, the percentages, the team that wins the turnover battle wins the game 81% of the time. And especially when you lose a turnover battle to a team like the Patriots, who are so good, so used to winning, and a guy like Tom Brady throwing the balls, it makes it even tougher.
We got Brady changing the play once again on 2nd and 4. Complete to Caldwell once more, sliding inside the 40-yard line. And working on the second-year corner, Stanley Wilson.
And Stanley Wilson looked to the sideline and he said, yeah, that's my fault. He's playing too far off, giving up too much ground, and it's just an easy, quick throw. You don't even allow the pressure to try to get to the quarterback. You got to get up there if you're going to blitz and get in that wide receiver's face and reroute him. And now he comes up.
Stanley Wilson took over for Fernando Bryant earlier, and Brady has gone his way often since. It's caught and then fumbled by Benjamin Watson, and the Lions recover. Who greased up the footballs this afternoon?
Well, that's not new for the Patriots. Last week they gave up 5 turnovers. That's been their biggest problem, is turning the ball over. Like we talked about earlier, that's what Tom Brady told us. And here, Benjamin Watson, who had 2 fumbles last week, fumbles the ball here again. And he told us that right elbow is still sore from a shot he took on it and fumbled against the Bears. That time, he has 2 arms wrapped around it, and that ball just comes out.
The nickelback John McGraw applied the hit that checked the ball free of Watson. So a chance for Kitna once again, being chased by Roosevelt Colvin, and the pass is caught by Kevin Jones, still not down, and Jones breaks it into a big gainer for the Lions.
We got to touch him in this league, boys. Kevin Jones falls down. It looks like the Patriots just think that he's down. The play's over. Kevin Jones, heady, just gets up and runs and turns it into a big game. But what the Lions have to do now is not panic and think they've got to throw the ball all the way down the field. Get your running game going, run the screens, work the clock, and try to get in the field goal range.
After the 18-yard pickup, and Kitna loses a football. New England gets it right back. Roosevelt Colvin knocked it free. Mike Wright jumped on it. And nobody seems to want to take control here this afternoon.
Nobody wants to win. They're trying to give the game to each other. Lions, again, offensively, you just got to work the clock. You don't have to throw the ball. There's 6 minutes left. You don't have to throw the ball all over the field. Roosevelt Colvin just comes around the corner and knocks that ball away from Kitna. The Patriots recover the ball, and now, again, the Lions put their defense in an adverse situation. You can't keep doing that with this offense and Tom Brady.
2 fumbles in a 3-play span. 7 turnovers for the game. Under 6 minutes now as Brady throws it away. Again, John McGraw had penetration from the Lions secondary. Well, we've talked about turnovers being the story. Nobody thought that this was going to be close as 21-21 in the 4th. And as often as Detroit has given themselves opportunity and made things happen, they have, unfortunately for Lion fans, given it up 4 times today. In a game that's big for New England and their playoff position, Brady slides shy of the 25-yard line. That's a part of the big picture here too, JC. We talked about it earlier. We're talking about bye weeks for the playoffs. You start thinking about home field advantage.
There's the Jets beating the Packers 38-10. And talking about bye weeks and how big they are. The Patriots, their 3 Super Bowl wins, they had that bye, that first-round bye, which is big.
Brady's pass complete to Caldwell, who's had a big afternoon. 8 receptions for the ex-Charger, up over 100 yards today.
And that's the first time that the Patriots have had a 100-yard receiver in a game since last season. So it's big. Those guys finally getting on the same page, Caldwell and Brady, that is. Now they've got another weapon outside to go along with Benjamin Watson, their leading receiver, coming into the game as a tight end.
On the cusp of the red zone is Brady out of the shotgun. He checks it down to Kevin Falk. And tackled at the 12.
That's why Tom Brady is so tough and so good. He goes through his entire progression read. And he comes all the way back across the field to find Kevin Falk. He's looking at Kevin Falk is just going to leak out into the flat. Tom Brady is looking on the front side. Watch him come all the way back to the other side of the field and finds Kevin Falk. They run the defense off, comes all the way back across to Falk on that check down for a positive yard.
Quick pass to Troy Brown. First down as New England is inside the 10. And as we do a little scoreboard watching elsewhere, talking about New England and their chances for a bye. It's a final score in Tennessee as the Titans have defeated Indianapolis.
Wow.
A 20-17 victory. How about Tennessee? They knocked off the G-Men last week.
Vince Young. Wow. Those guys coming on down there.
Yeah, you talk about playing spoiler and messing up some plans. Dillon the lone back with Brady out of the shotgun. And that one complete to Troy Brown. He's leaning on his one of his favorite targets historically is Tom Brady. Troy Brown, the leading receiver in Patriots history, coming up big here in this late drive. And another injured Lion. Alex Lewis, who took over for the injured Ernie Sims earlier this quarter. A reminder, Tuesday at 8/7 Central, watch the FBI's top negotiators work it on and off the streets. Standoff is all new this Tuesday at 8/7 Central right here on Fox. Viewer discretion is advised. Alex Lewis able to stand up. Fans giving him the business a little bit here, noting that the Lions are out of timeouts.
That gives his defense a time to regroup, catch their breath, regroup, huddle up, and talk about it. That's why the fans are so upset, because like you said, with the Lions being out of timeouts, they can't do that. But with that injury, they can huddle up, they can talk, they can regroup, get the right personnel on the field.
Second and goal from inside the 5.
Patriots just letting the clock run down. Smart veteran group. Tom Brady let the clock run.
Ernie Sims back on the field for Detroit. Dillon already has 2 rushing touchdowns this afternoon. Make it 3. A 4-yard TD scamper by Corey Dillon.
But again, how smart is Tom Brady? Just lets the clock run down. They break the huddle. There's 15 seconds left on the clock, and he just keeps everybody there and says, hey, don't go to the line until there's 7 seconds left. Then we get up, we run our play. Let as much time run off this clock as possible. Corey Dillon just a race to the pylon. He's able to get there. Another big block by Heath Evans. Then it's just a race to the pylon. He's able to get there.
Gostowski on for the PAT. And New England finishes as the Patriots enjoy their biggest lead here of the afternoon, and it comes with 2:33 left in the final quarter. Again, we remind you, coming up next, the second half of our doubleheader. Can Tony Romo stay red hot to try to defeat Eli and the G-Men in New York?
Who need to win real bad.
Pre-game show guys have been warming up in New York all morning long, and the second half of our doubleheader is coming up right after the Lions and Patriots here in Foxborough. Great day of football today as well.
Yeah, and how about Corey Dillon carrying the load? Lawrence Maroney goes out, dinged up, got the wind knocked out, whatever they want to call it. Corey Dillon, being the veteran that he is, 3 touchdowns today.
You know, you and I, and this is kind of a shame that we're going to have to be in a car or on a plane, because the All-State BCS selection show is coming up on Fox later tonight, and unfortunately they haven't leaked any of the corporate secrets to us yet. They've told us that there will be surprises.
I can't wait to see it.
I think what's going to happen is they're just going to bang the whole thing and declare USC the national champ because of a fluke loss yesterday to UCLA.
Not.
Eddie Drummond at the 10-yard line. It is a 1-possession game for the Lions as Drummond is wrapped up at the 25. Pierre Woods making the special teams tackle for New England.
You know, Corey Dillon today needed 21 yards to go over 11,000 rushing yards in his career. He got 25 today, yards, 9 carries, 3 touchdowns. You know, the guy's done it for a long, long time, and he's continuing to do it. You can see, congratulating him. He's just a hard-nosed guy. Fits this system perfectly, runs hard, doesn't try to do too much, and obviously today picked up the slack with Lawrence Maroney being injured.
Well, things have not gone according to complete plan for Bill Belichick with the 3 New England turnovers. All kinds of penalties by the Pats, 10 of them, and when chips get real low, you lean on Tom Brady, and he has really responded. Great fourth quarter numbers.
And they've done that 2 weeks in a row now. With the Bears, they turned the ball over 5 times. But when you're a winning football team, you've got the confidence to go out and make plays and the discipline to not panic and do what you're supposed to do. Turns out in your favor more times than not.
Kittner working out of the shotgun. Heavy pass rush, and down he goes. Roosevelt Colvin from the strong side.
And again, now you turn that to the other side, and the Lions, who've lost a bunch of games by 7 points or less because, as in their own words, they don't know how to win yet.
Kittner from the gun again. Complete to Josh McCown. And the quarterback has it across the 30-yard line. A gain of 7. Well, Kittner, McCown, and the Lions offense have 2 minutes left in Foxborough. Two minutes left here in Foxborough with New England on top by a touchdown. Detroit has the football at their own 31-yard line. And though they have had their share of trouble New England's defensive front has stepped up big here in the second half. Third and 4 as Roosevelt Colvin tries to rally a sold-out Foxborough crowd. They split Josh McCown out wide again. All kinds of targets here for Kitna, but a heavy pass rush. He gets the pass away, and it's intercepted. That should seal the deal. Mike Vrabel's second pick of the game, his third of the year.
Can't do it. John Kitna, being a veteran guy, he's got to know, throw that ball out of bounds. And I know he's thinking it's third down. We've got to get a first down. There's an injury there, but he's got to be smart enough to know there's fourth down also. They're in four down territory now. This point in the game, you got to throw that ball out of bounds. Got pressure Colvin coming off the edge right there. Everybody coming in his face. Just get rid of that football. Throw it out of bounds. You got fourth down. Don't just throw it up for grabs, because when you do that, more times than not, it's going to get picked off.
Well, the issue now, however, is at what cost the interception, as Mike Vrabel still has not gotten to his feet. Detroit is out of timeouts. That pick effectively ends the comeback attempt by the Lions as they continue to attend to their defensive hero.
See Vrabel catching the ball at its highest point. It's like he just takes a knee. Wow. Wow, took a knee to the back of the head, and you can tell instantly that he was shaken up pretty good there.
And he wanted a number of things. He leaned back awkwardly on the ankle. That would be a huge, devastating blow to a linebacking core that's already without Junior Seau the rest of the way. And Mike Vrabel, such a popular player here for such a long time. Being escorted now to the sideline.
Yeah, you take those shots to the back of the head, especially with the knee, and that can knock a guy out pretty easily. And obviously, Vrabel's dinged up there. The more important thing, though, is he was able to catch that football.
Take a look at it again. It's tough to speculate as to where exactly.
Well, right at the end. Not right here. Watch the guy coming in right here. It's like that right knee caught him on the back of the head.
Well, look at his right ankle. His right knee is twisted. He got hit in the head.
Just like a boxer that got hit with the left hook. Looks like you're out right there.
One of a number of issues there affecting Mike Vrabel. So the Patriots offense should be able to finish this thing. Again, the Lions without a timeout. They tried to take 4 this half, as a matter of fact, and that was a part of the story. But New England had a 13-10 halftime lead. There have been a couple of ties since. The Lions came back to tie it at 13. They came back to tie it at 21. Corey Dillon has been responsible for 3 of New England's touchdowns today. In fact, his first 3-touchdown game as a Patriot. He hits the 11,000 career rushing mark, and in fact ranks number 15 on the all-time list. Now, there's been considerable time taken after the interception, and now we're being told it is not necessarily because of the injury to Vrabel, though that was the initial delay. Now we're being told that this is under review upstairs. We're inside of 2 minutes, meaning all reviews come from the booth, and they're taking a look to see.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands.
If, in fact, Vrabel was in bounds, which he apparently was.
Yeah, both feet definitely came down, and when he let the ball go, the ball just trickled out of bounds. So definitely caught the ball, got both feet down before he took that shot to the side of the head.
Now, once again, the Jets have defeated Green Bay. The Colts lost in Tennessee. And some of Bill Belichick's all-week-long warnings heated late today. Well, the coach did not want his Patriots to let down. They're able to survive the Lions and survive themselves, really, on this afternoon here in Foxborough.
Yeah, they did, and the Lions weren't able to survive themselves. They gave the game away with 5 turnovers, had plenty of opportunities to win, but again, just the same old story for them. They have an opportunity to win a game. They lose by 7 points or less again, with just a couple plays made by them would be the difference.
Yeah, the Lions are quick to tell everybody that at the start of the weekend, 7 of their 9 losses were a possession away from flipping around to a win. A lot of close losses. Hey, losses nonetheless. And as you check the upcoming schedule for New England, they take on Minnesota, a knee will just about do it. Patriots survive. Time ticking away here in Foxborough for J.C. Pearson. Matt Vasgersian saying so long from New England. Our final score from Foxborough this afternoon, the Patriots 28, Detroit 21. A busy day of football on Fox has just begun. Later on this afternoon, the All-State BCS Selection Show. Find out who's playing in the biggest games in college football later on tonight. Stay tuned for the second game of our Fox NFL doubleheader. The Cowboys at the Giants coming up right after these messages.